Welcome back to Firefighter Foundations, a short video series covering the basic of firefighting. Today we're going to cover ring alarms. Today I'm joined with Senior Fire Inspector Darren Golden, who is going to help us with navigating ring alarms and water flow alarms. So we just responded to a ring alarm with a water flow at this building, and we're going to work through the steps to successfully mitigate this emergency.
Okay, first step when arriving on scene is you want to locate our fire protection systems. A good way to locate a sprinkler system, if there isn't an identified fire control room, is by the exterior sprinkler bell. That is your red bell. That's an audible device. A lot of times, the sprinkler system riser will be located just on the inside of the wall of where the bell is located. Not all times, but most likely. If there is a fire control room, that means you're going to have your system riser, sprinkler riser, and your fire alarm panel located inside the room. So outside of a building actually on fire, or people screaming that the building's on fire, it's just a water flow event where we have a sprinkler flowing per our notes in CAD. We want to locate the fire alarm panel and the sprinkler riser. The other location the fire alarm panel could be in is in a telephone room. Not on new buildings, but a lot of the older buildings, your fire alarm panel will be in a telephone room and the sprinkler riser will be in another location of the building. Okay, once you locate either the fire control room or what you think is an accessible door to the system, or the sprinkler riser and the fire alarm control panel, look for a Knox rapid entry device. On newer buildings that are sprinkled, you will have a Knox box at the fire control room, and you will also have one at the main entrance. Either one will get you access to the building. If you don't find a Knox box, use whatever tool necessary to gain access to the room. Okay, we've gained access to the building. I've located the fire alarm control panel and the fire sprinkler system riser. Open the panel. There's not a key here. Sometimes it's on top. Sometimes it's in the Knox box. So when we look at the readout on the fire alarm control panel, you can tell it is in alarm condition, okay, by that blinking red light, versus a supervisory or a trouble, okay? We actually in alarm. And our system's telling us that the system is in water flow, meaning the flow switch on the sprinkler system has sensed water moving in the sprinkler system. Okay, our system is in alarm in water flow status, okay? A way to determine that water is actually flowing in the system, ruling out a malfunction at the fire alarm panel, is we can look at our gauge. If water's flowing, our gauge will probably be bouncing a little bit. You can audibly hear water rushing through the pipe and can probably feel it. In addition to your typical exterior sprinkler bell letting you know water's flowing, you also have an exterior strobe only device. And the only purpose of this strobe is to let you know two things. Water's flowing in the system, and it'll be perpendicular to your FDC device, whether it's wall mounted or exterior mounted out in an island or in the parking lot. You can look at that device and look out in your parking lot and locate your FDC and PIP. A quick way to make this be quiet is to acknowledge or panel silence. Now, do not hit signal silence or system silence on some panels, because that will shut off strobe devices that are telling people to evacuate the building. All we're doing is telling the panel to be quiet at this location. Okay, so we located our fire protection system. We've confirmed water's flowing in the system. While we have no active reports of fire, the next step is to, 1, locate where the water's flowing from, and 2, actually confirm we have no active fire. Okay, so firefighters have been sent to the room where there's a fuse sprinkler head and have confirmed there is no fire. Now we return to the system riser to try to shut it down. Okay, we've located our control valve for this system. It happens to be on the system riser. Okay, to shut it off, you're going to turn this valve until the indicator is all the way horizontal on the vertical piping. Okay, as you can hear, there's a supervisory signal because this control valve is monitored for tampering. Okay, ignore that supervisory, or you can acknowledge it. If you acknowledge it, you can get that to stop beeping. Once you shut the system all the way off, okay, the system will continue to drain through the fused sprinkler head or the broken pipe or the broken head, okay? To get the water out of the system quicker, so it doesn't all have to drain through that head and cause more water damage, open the main drain. Main drains are on the riser and are usually identified by a nameplate. Open the main drain all the way and let the system drain until it stops. If the main drain doesn't stop after a couple minutes and you feel like you still have water flowing through the system, we haven't actually shut off the system. So in the scenario where you have a PIV or a backflow preventer, you may think you shut the right system off, but you didn't, and the water is still flowing, okay? You'll want to go back through that process and ensure that you found the right control valve. If you don't have a control valve on a sprinkler riser, you're going to want to locate your yard PIV or exterior PIV. This is a control valve underground to or a device that goes to the underground control valve. If you don't have a PIV, your next option is a backflow prevention device which has two control valves on it. Either one of them will shut the system off. You don't have to shut both of them off. In this case, this is what's commonly referred to as an OS and Y. Indicating valve: when the stem is up, it's in the open position. When the stem is down, it's in the closed position. The only reason this device has these valves is so they can service the backflow prevention device, which is a device that protects the potable water supply. Okay, a way to distinguish between regular control valves and listed fire protection control valves is a regular control valve just is a mechanical device to shut off the supply. In this case, this happens to be just a gate valve, where our actually listed fire protection device valve has to be indicating. So in this case, we have a flag. You have seen OS and Ys where the stem rises up when it's open, and it has to be able to be monitored or locked. Okay, we have shut our system down. Our fire sprinkler system, as indicated by our valve, system is shut off. The water has stopped flowing, and the water has stopped flowing where the fused head occurred, then we know our system is off. We have rectified the alarm condition. Okay? The only alarm condition being water flow as indicated by our fire alarm control panel. Now it's appropriate to take the system out of alarm if you have corrected the alarm condition. Okay? And the way to do this is to do a master reset. Okay? So you hold the reset button, and the system should go through a reset process. Okay, as you can see, our system has reset. The alarm condition LED is no longer lit. However, as you can see, as soon as the system reset, it went back into supervisory because our control valve is in a closed position, our monitor control valve. And this is okay, we want it to stay that way. And obviously we need to keep it closed because if we open it, we're going to flow water. Okay, our fire sprinkler system is secured. Our fire alarm panel is back in normal status. Firefighters are familiar with the spare head sprinkler box. What we do not want to be in the practice of is trying to locate the correct head and replacing it for the building owner. That is the responsibility of their licensed fire protection contractor. A lot of these heads look very similar, and we don't want to put the wrong head in a system or cause more damage to a system and assume that liability. Let's let the licensed professionals handle that. Okay, now that our emergency has been resolved, we want to make a couple notifications. We want to, one, let the residents know that the emergency is resolved, no more water flowing in the building. Two, we want to notify the building owner via out of service notice that their fire sprinkler system is off. Okay, we have official form for that, department form. And then at the end of that, we need to make sure we forward that to fire prevention so they can follow up to make sure the system is put back in service.
As you can see, with some basic troubleshooting and following those simple steps, you can easily mitigate ringing alarms and water flow events. We hope this gets you out in your district to review fire protection systems and get more familiar with your district.